As I've mentioned, from time to time, I worked in a parish in the Port Moresby Archdiocese in a place called Rigo, and the centre of the place was Borragina. It was called St Paul's, Borragina. Since then, the whole parish has been called Holy Trinity. I want to tell you a story about the 25th anniversary of that parish. This is Roger from MSC Mission Office, and you're with Mission Alive. The 25th anniversary of the parish began in 1962, so work it out. We had people right out in all the villages in about 6 or 7 outstations. And so we began planning some, well in advance. We had a parish council and a lot of things were decided there. And then people started to come in and they made their own camps around the place. And then we had food. We'd made a collection for food. Anyway, the point of the story is one night, the chairman of the Borragina group, who was actually mainly responsible to get people settled and make sure they had food and firewood, etc., etc. One group came in the night, not late, but in the night, and he wasn't there at the time. He was down in the village. So somebody took over, allocated a place and some food and got them settled. When he came back, he was upset. Somebody had done his job. Somebody had stepped in and done something. Well, we had all kinds of difficulties getting him sorted out. Different ones from the parish council and leaders, chiefs, talked to him, spoke to him, I spoke to him, and he'd get upset and he'd get in his truck and go back to the village again, and then he'd come back and then he'd go back to the village again. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do next. Anyway, next thing he's back, happy as anything, on with the job, all's good. And I said to somebody, who talked to him? What happened to him? He's changed his mind. This guy laughed and he said, he went home and his wife said to him, don't be stupid, go back there and do your job. The power of women, I acknowledge that. Anyway, we went on with it. Now, the point of the story is, our reading today is, love God, love your neighbour. Now, this is love your neighbour. Now, this guy at that moment was a bit hard to love, really. I mean, he was really being a bit silly. But then, anyway, even in those sort of situations, even if it's a bit controversial, argumentative, combative, you still deep down love the person. And once it's sorted out and it's all over, then you go on as usual. But it is difficult at times to love your neighbour because sometimes our neighbours are awfully difficult. And I know there's people in my life, even my brother MSCs, if I don't ever see them again in my life, I'll be quite happy. I just don't get along with them. I don't like them. Doesn't mean I don't love them in that sense. I acknowledge their work and what they've done and many things about them, but I just don't get along with them. At this stage in my life anyway, maybe, I'll change. But that's all part of loving your neighbour, even when they're difficult. And many of us know too, with our own families, your own partners, your kids or parents, often difficult to love them. And perhaps in the really better moments, we need to just focus on that love, even look at the person and reassume that love. So when we get to the difficult times, we can work our way through it. We can see our way through it. And so this is all part of our mission. And this is where it's based. A lot of things that are going on in the world that are not right, if there was a greater degree of love and respect for other people, then we might do better. Now, some aspects of that is, in that particular case, that story, there was a great degree of need for cooperation. And a lot of this comes out. Now, who are we as church? We are church mystery of communion. And from there's a spirituality, a way of living. How do we live out being a church of communion? One is cooperation. And for that, we need respect for one another. Just decent human respect for one another. We need dialogue. We need an open ear to hear what is going on, either by words or what we see. And with dialogue too, we need to be able to speak and speak honestly. And respect for others, we need to participate. Whatever is going on, we need to step up and participate. Be part of it. Do our share, contribute our talents, and allow others to participate. Allow them to share what they have, what they know, and their experience and their gifts and talents. And discernment. Together we discern and try to understand where the Spirit of God is leading us. We do this together. In discussions, all kinds of different ways we can discern what's going on. And as I said, sharing each other's gifts, and the other things we could pull out of what we mean by Church of Communion, and that's how we live. Spirituality is how we live on the every day-to-day life, and what guides us and guides us in what we do and what we say. And to live Church of Communion is part of our mission. We are church. Our mission is to evangelize, to proclaim the good news, and we live and work through this idea of communion, deep union between us. This is our mission, and the mission goes on today and every day. Thank you for being part of it.